Motion hearing was held for the father of the Oxford school shooter. James Crumbley is asking for some changes ahead of his involuntary manslaughter trial, which starts March 5th. Our Terrence Friday has a recap of what played out in court today.
Mr. Crumbley, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
James Crumbley and his legal team have presented several different requests ahead of his involuntary manslaughter trial next month. The defense is fighting to keep certain evidence from being presented and has also asked for a change of venue to give James a better chance at a fair trial.
There's been a number of motions zooming back and forth. But today, I think the only motion we're addressing is a motion filed by the defense with regard to the prosecutor's added witnesses.
The prosecution says it amended its witness list 30 days prior to trial. The team added 2 students hurt in the shooting and the original purchaser of the handgun that would ultimately be used in the shooting. The prosecution argues that its goal is to have more witnesses on hand should anyone drop out at the last minute.
Because we are aware that this court does run a very tight ship. As the court recalls the last trial, we were delayed from weather. We had a witness who had COVID. We had another witness with child care issues. You had another witness who was on vacation. We had to reorganize our proofs and presentation on the fly. So we want to be able to present our case in an efficient manner.
While I can't imagine what those 2 students went through on November 30th of 2021, their testimony is not relevant in the trial against James Crumbley. He's been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. He's not charged with assaulting anyone with a firearm. He's not charged with shooting anyone and wounding anyone. He's charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the actions of his son.
Judge Cheryl Matthews questioned the relevance of having the students testify and is still debating the matter. The prosecution argues that even though the students are seen in surveillance video, their perspective is important.
Don't we have a video of that?
We do have a video, Judge, but and the video obviously is extremely relevant, extremely important, because the shooting is why we are here. And when we have actual eyewitness testimony available, it is important for the jury to hear that perspective.
The primary purpose of their testimony is to inflame the emotions of the jury. I mean, their testimony or whatever they can provide can also be provided in a video. The whole purpose of admitting the video and not having sound on the video was to lessen the prejudicial impact on the jury. We litigated this previously, and this has been discussed with the court. The purpose of the video and admitting the video is to show the jury what actually occurred during that shooting. The shooting is caught on the video, Your Honor. So the court has previously decided that the video is being admitted.
Yep.
I still don't believe that it's relevant in this case, Your Honor. However, I know that that's the court's ruling. So allowing the testimony of 2 students who were not only in the hallway but were also wounded by the shooter, Your Honor, I just don't find it relevant. And I think that it is, even if the court finds it relevant, it's highly unfairly prejudicial in this case.
Terrence Friday, CBS News, Detroit.
Now, James is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. His wife was found guilty of the same charges earlier this month. Initially, the couple had joint representation, but later opted to have separate trials. Joining us live in studio to break down today's hearing is Chief Judge of 36th District Court, Kenneth King. Kenneth, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, okay, so let's get right into it. Prosecutors want to add 2 students who were shot to the witness list. The defense is saying no. How do you think the judge will rule on this one?
Well, it's going to boil down to whether or not these witnesses, their testimony is more probative than prejudicial. And of course, they want to put forth witnesses that are prejudicial because they're trying to win. So any witness they put forth is going to be prejudicial, but is it more prejudicial than probative is the question. If I'm the judge in that, you know, it's kind of hard to exclude a res gestae witness, meaning a witness that's an eyewitness to the matter.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that they've been kind of going back and forth about, and the judge said she's going to make a ruling at a later date. Judge James Crumbley also trying to get the evidence of his son's mental health issues kept out of this trial. How do you think that's going to play out?
Well, it's relevant, though, and I'm not so sure. Well, it has to go to his culpability, what he knew about his son's mental capability and providing his son, his 15-year-old son, a Christmas present that's a gun. So was he grossly negligent in doing that, knowing that he had this mental issue? So I don't think that's going to be excluded. It shouldn't be anyway. I don't think so.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces here. Another thing with this, Judge, is the defense has asked the court to move the trial to a different county, but the judge, she hasn't made a ruling on that just yet. Do you think he'll get that change of venue he's looking for?
I think it's doubtful. Not only is it unusual to see a change of venue in these kinds of cases, and the main reason here being the publicity surrounding the case and having to try the case in the same county that this atrocity took place. Well, there are over 600,000 registered voters in Oakland County. We should be able to find 12 that can be objective.
Yeah, and I question, would it even make much of a difference? This is now a national story.
Yeah, everybody's heard, unless you've had your head buried in the sand for the last 2 years, you've heard something about this case and probably have formed some kind of opinion.
Yeah.
But this is where voir dire becomes very important, where we question the jurors. Have they already made up their minds, or can they be objective and listen to the evidence and make their decisions based solely on what they hear in the trial?
And let's get to Jennifer Crumbley's trial. Were you surprised at all by the verdict?
Not at all. Not, the only thing that surprised me is that it took so long.
Ah, you thought that the jury would come back sooner.
I did.
Do you any idea of how much time she'll actually serve when she's sentenced?
Well, in Michigan, we have a sentencing guidelines. We have a minimum and a maximum. The maximum is 15 years. The minimum can be anywhere from probation to 10 or whatever the judge sees fit.
Yeah.
So the judge gets a scoring grid where they entertain the criminal history, the number of victims, that type of thing, and they see where you fall in the grid. And that grid is going to dictate what you should or could possibly sentence that defendant to.
Yeah.
So depending on where she falls in it, it could be anywhere from, I'm looking, she'll probably get somewhere, I'm guessing, probably 5 to 15.
Got it. All right. Well, Judge King, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.